Okay, for today's lesson, I'm going to use a couple different strategies. Number one, dictation, and the second one is think, pair, share. So I'm going to use both of those ELL strategies for my classroom of first graders. And the topic obviously is language arts and reading and writing. So those are what we're covering. And our theme for the week is farm animals. And so let me go over some of the materials that we're going to need for this lesson. The first thing is I made a list of vocabulary words because I'm going to read this story. But these are some vocabulary words that I'm assuming that my first graders have never heard before. And they may or may not know what these words are. So before I read the story, I want to explain to them what these are. So a typewriter, they don't know what a typewriter is, but they understand what a computer is, and they've all typed on a computer, and they know that when they type, they can produce a document that has words on it. Well, the same thing as a typewriter. So I feel like they can relate to that, even though they may have never seen a typewriter. On strike, they probably don't know what that saying even means. So I'm going to explain to them in their terms what that would mean to them. And then ultimatum, that's a big word. I'm sure they've never heard that before. So I'm going to explain to them that that's basically a demand, that I'll do this, but you have to do this. And it's a demand on somebody else's terms, not your terms. And then, of course, an electric blanket. I have a prop here. This is an electric blanket. I'm not just sitting here covering up. I'm actually using it so that I can display to my students what a electric blanket is. They may have never seen one. We do live in Florida. They may have never even heard an electric blanket before. So I want them to be able to touch it, feel how warm it is, and understand all these vocabulary words before I read the story. The next thing is I'm going to read the story, and it's called Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type. And it's a fun, cute little story, and even though they've never heard the story and it's unfamiliar to them, they know, they all can relate. They know what a farm is, they know what a barn is, they know that cows produce milk, they know that chickens produce eggs, so they understand all of that. So they're going to understand the concept of this book. So I'm going to read this book. The gist of it is that the farmer has a farm, and he hears something, and what's happening is it's his cows that are typing on the typewriter that they found in the barn. Next thing you know, he's getting notes from the cows, and the cows are saying, "Farmer Brown, it's cold outside. We need some electric blankets." And the farmer says no. And so they type him a message back saying, "If you don't give us an electric blanket, we're not going to give you milk." And then he says, "I'm not giving you electric blankets." And next thing you know, the hens say, "Well, we want electric blankets too." And he says, "No, you're not getting electric blankets." And the hens say, "But I want electric blankets." And he says, and so then they say, "Well, if we don't get electric blankets, you don't get eggs." So now the farmer is in quite a quandary because he doesn't know what he's going to do. So he's like, "I demand eggs and I demand milk, and you need to give it to me." And so that's his ultimatum. And so a duck takes it over to the cows. The cows read it, the hens read it, and then they counter with their ultimatum that says, "I'll tell you what, you give us the electric blankets, we'll give you the typewriter." So the farmer thought about it, and he's like, "You know what, that's a good idea. That would probably solve all of our problems." So sure enough, he goes and buys electric blankets for his cows and his hens, and they're all covered up, and they're all warm, and they're all cozy, and they're all happy. He gets the typewriter, so everything should be good, right? Except now the ducks found the typewriter, and now the ducks can type. Now the ducks are typing him a message that, "Hey, it's pretty boring out here on this pond. Do we want a diving board?" And so that's the end of the story. It's just a cute little funny story, but it totally relates back to our theme for the week, farm animals. It gives them good vocabulary words that they can learn from, and it's just a cute little message for them. So I'm going to read the story, and when I'm done reading the story, then they're going to pair up with their partner, one obviously a native English speaker, the other an ELL student, and then they can work together. I will reread the story. They'll have the opportunity to pull out paper and pen and write notes down as I read the story again to them, and then they'll be able to share and discuss ideas back and forth with their partner, and work within their partner to discuss the key concepts of the story, the main ideas of the story, and then they'll be able to discuss it back to the classroom or with the teacher to make sure, to assess, to make sure that they understand the story, they understand the key concepts of the story, and they're able to write. And if my ELL cannot write, then at least they can draw pictures of what is happening in the book. So that is my lesson in the gist of it. So I just wanted to explain that's how I was going to use both of my strategies to help improve reading and writing skills for my ELLs. Thanks.